Hey guys, it's Allie, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about some of the most overrated American Girl dolls. So I did make a similar video a few weeks ago with the most underrated American Girl dolls. So this is pretty much the opposite of that. So underrated was dolls that are really beautiful and no one talks about them, but more people should. And overrated is just dolls that are really, really popular to the point that you cannot walk 5 miles without hearing about them. And they are just talked about so much, and they're usually not worth as much hype as they are given. Some of these dolls on this list are my opinion, and some of these are ones that you guys mentioned a lot when I asked on my story on Instagram what dolls you guys thought were overrated. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start off with a doll that, if you are familiar with this channel, you know I'm not the biggest fan of, and that is Vega. I think she's very overrated because her space theme was something unique for American Girl, and I will give them credit for that, but because of how unique it was, everyone always talked about it, and personally I am not the biggest fan of the space theme. It is not very my style. I don't own anything in Luciana's collection other than the free shirt you got on her release day. So just seeing Galaxy, which is overrated as a trend, and then Luciana, which I feel like every little kid has a Luciana doll, and I am not a big fan of Luciana. She's very overrated in my opinion. American Girl promotes her a ton, and just the fact that she came out in 2018 and is still available for purchase. Like, every other Girl of the Year retired after 1 year, yet they keep this girl around. She's just getting more and more overrated, and she's not worth the hype. She's not the best Girl of the Year in my opinion. I know we're starting off this video super controversial already, but I just feel like she's not necessarily the worst Girl of the Year, but she definitely is talked about too much in my opinion and praised too much in my opinion. So this next doll, I'm kind of on the fence about because I put her in my underrated dolls video because you guys said she was underrated. But then when I posted that video, you guys said that she was overrated. And I'm personally impartial because I don't feel like this doll is underrated or overrated. But I'm just gonna give a quick little shout out to Cecile Ray here because you guys say she's underrated, yet she's overrated. I don't really have too many of my own comments to make about this as I feel like Cecile is accurately rated. I don't see her too much on YouTube anymore, and I think she's a pretty doll, but apparently she's overrated, which I feel like Mary Grace is more overrated than Cecile would be. I kind of forget Cecile even exists sometimes. So we're just gonna skip that and move on to Mary Grace. So I do not think Mary Grace as the original doll necessarily is overrated, but the fact that so many people want a Mary Grace doll solely for her face mold to use it in customs and things like that makes her overrated. People love their custom Mary Grace boy dolls. People love getting a cool wig and slapping it on a Mary Grace doll. So I think original Mary Graces are underrated, but then the mold is definitely very overrated. It's not my personal favorite face mold. I prefer the original Mary Grace over most Mary Grace customs, but yeah, I think Mary Grace is overrated. This video is turning into a mess. The next doll is overrated, and I think American Girl themselves is a big factor in terms of why this doll is overrated, and that is Courtney Moore. She came out last year, and there was so much hype around her release. Yes, the 80s stuff was cool. However, compared to other recent historical characters that came out, such as Nanea and even Melody, Courtney was so hyped up. She got those really creepy music videos made for her. She has her series on AG's YouTube channel, Courtney's Corner. She had her stop motion series, which I'm not gonna complain about that. I do love those series. She was on American Girl's series Dolled Up with American Girl. Courtney was everywhere, and even today she's still everywhere. They're advertising her constantly, and for a doll that is pretty much Mary Ellen 2.0, I think she's very overrated. Another thing, and this is just more of a personal thing, but when Courtney came out, a lot of people were saying they prefer her over Mary Ellen, and I am a Mary Ellen fan, so that broke my heart a little bit, but I believe Courtney is very overrated for what she is. She doesn't really have any unique features other than the fact that her wig is curly, in my opinion. The next doll was definitely more overrated a few years ago than she is right now, but that is Sonia Matthews. A few years ago, you could really only get Sonalis for several hundreds of dollars on eBay. She was the Kanani back in the day. Everyone wanted a Sonali doll, dream doll for so many people. I personally never really had Sonali on my wish list, but I will say her face mold is is one of my favorites. In my opinion, she didn't really have any super unique features, as her face mold can be found on several dolls, including 62 and Melody, and her wig is similar to the wig of Truly Me 49. So I think having the hype about certain dolls like Kanani, for example, makes more sense than Sonali, but Sonali was only available for 1 year, so I do understand the rarity. This video is such a mess, I apologize. Like, I have an outline and now I'm trying to explain my decisions and I'm just like, overrated. Everyone talks about her so much and I just don't think she's worth the hype. The next doll is very similar to Courtney Moore in the way that she's overrated, and that is Kira Bailey. Whenever it is the beginning of a new year, the girl of the year is always super hyped up. Everyone's buying her, everyone's taking photos of her, and it is a huge deal. American Girl made their weird Kira music videos. They made the Kira stop motion series, which was once again very well done. But I feel like Kira just got so much hype compared to other girl of the years like Joss, Blair. She got so much hype, and she isn't even that unique of a doll, similar to Courtney. She's Julie with green eyes, pretty much. So I don't think that hype was very deserved, but compared to other girl of the years, I feel like Kira's hype has died down a little bit sooner. I haven't been seeing her on social media as much compared to Courtney, which is still everywhere on my Instagram feed and all over YouTube, but I do think she was very overrated for when she came out. The next doll breaks my heart that you guys suggested this one, but that is Mary Ellen Larkin. She's one of my favorite dolls, at least she was a few years ago. She is my profile picture on YouTube. I entered her in AGNDM Cycle 1, and she's one of the most well-known dolls in my collection. But as a doll itself, she is a little bit basic and boring and overrated. They still give Mary Ellen a pretty big collection when they forget that dolls like Kaya and Josefina exist and give them nothing. And I think if American Girl wants to make Kaya and Josefina popular, maybe give them an actual collection so you don't really have to promote the same dolls over and over again and then make them become overrated. She's a classic mold with hazel eyes, which is a combo that has been done multiple times. I do find her wig quite unique though, with the side bangs, at least until Courtney came along, and the wavy red hair, and I do prefer her appearance over Courtney. I do love her collection, but I do understand why she is overrated. She's very popular. A lot of people, including myself, own this doll. Here's another one that you guys suggested a few times, which I personally don't think is that overrated, so I can't really come up with any guesses as to why you would say this doll is overrated, but we will give her a quick shout out, and that is Grace Thomas, Girl of the Year for 2015. I think Grace is a really pretty doll who is worth the hype in my opinion, very unique for a Girl of the Year with the freckles, the blue eyes, and the wig with the side bangs, but I don't think she is as overrated or as popular as some other dolls on this list are. Next up, we have Jess, Girl of the Year for 2006. She is a very popular dream doll, and I'm not sure how much Jess dolls will go for on eBay, but I know that she's a very coveted doll for a lot of people. At least for me, I don't really get the hype around Jess because there are a lot of Truly Me dolls that look similar to her, such as Truly Me 30 and Truly Me 40, and I honestly prefer those Truly Me dolls because they're newer, they'll be in better condition over Jess. But I guess just because of how many dolls there are that look similar to Jess, the original is a little bit overrated because there are so many similar dolls. This next doll is very overrated by American Girl themselves. I think they think it's the best product they ever made, when in reality there are a lot of mixed opinions, and that is the colored hair Truly Me dolls. They've put them on their series Dolled Up with American Girl. In all of their advertisements, they are always using their colored hair dolls. Truly Me, a line that's meant to look like real people, and all you are promoting are dolls with unnatural hair colors, which young kids probably most likely do not have those unnatural hair colors. There are so many Truly Me dolls available, and they always promote like the same colored hair dolls, and it really annoys me. That is a pet peeve. But I do think they are overrated. They are not the prettiest Truly Me's in my opinion, and even though their hair is unique, there are so many more natural looking Truly Me's that are beautiful and should be promoted way more than these guys are. If they just existed, okay, but like they are everywhere on AG social media, and I see them on YouTube more than I do on AGIG, but they are very overrated in my opinion. The last doll who we are going to be talking about for today, who is very overrated, the queen of being overrated, is Julie Albright. This all kind of started when American Girl released their Julie music video out of the blue, and we thought that was bad, but they didn't do the creepy eyes back then. That video got very popular. It has a few million views, I believe, a lot of dislikes, but that song became so much of a meme that it made Julie even more popular, popular. And in terms of historical dolls, I would say Julie is on the more basic side, especially now that we have Kira Bailey, who looks very similar to Julie. Josefina mold, brown eyes, straight blonde hair. So she's not the most unique doll out there. I do think the 70s is a very fun era and she has a fun collection, but she is definitely very, very overused as a doll and has a lot of hype when there are dolls that are more unique that should be getting that hype, in my opinion. So I'm pretty sure this was a very controversial video, but please, if you did enjoy it at least a little bit, give it a thumbs up and comment down below what dolls do you guys think are overrated. I don't necessarily agree with all of the things on this list, as some of them were suggested by you guys, but I did want to make sure that your guys' opinions were heard. If you guys do want to participate in future videos like this, make sure to follow me on Instagram at AllycatlovesAG, as sometimes I do post questions like this to my story and I will incorporate your answers into my videos. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring that bell so you are notified whenever I post a new video. And of course, have an amazing day and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Bye!